Now, you might have seen my video before called Let's Roll a Character. Well, this is a new one. We're rolling a new character. And why is that having to happen? Well, because as of session 14 of our play, Paedar died at the great battle siege of Redhold. Therefore, he needs a new character. So I thought this would be a great time to show you the progression and the thought going into a real character. Let's do this. Got it printed out on a nice piece of really good quality cardstock. You know what it is yet? Yeah. Okay, so yeah, going Rogue Dwarf Duster. Okay, so gender, male, age, not saying. Weight, mind your own. Height, what you trying to say? Yep. Now then, being a rogue, you start with light leather. So one of the first things, as you see here under armor type, is to purchase heavy leather in its place and do a little trade-in of the light leather for obviously less, because you get a better armor rating, and being a rogue, it means you get rogue's armor, so no dexterity or speed minus to any of that anyway. You can see a nice speed 11 because he's got dex 3. In the random rolls, he actually rolled, you can see the stats section here, he actually rolled dex 2, but you get a +1 just by being a dust town dwarf, a duster. So that's the route he's going down. So it's a rogue replacing a rogue. And this one has got his own ideals and ideas behind the scenes of it all. Don't worry about the tick there on drinking constitution. That's actually an error that the player that printed this out left in because of his character sheet as well. So we'll have a little look at the concepts that make up this character. So we'll start to see, you know, the choices that were made. So originally, communication had rolled as a 1 and strength as a 0. But the two weapons that he was going to have, even the crossbow, you know, being a dwarf, it was, you know, crossbow, needs a strength minimum 1. You know, you have to be careful of this, guys, when you're choosing a weapon, and make sure you do have the minimum strength requirement, because I don't know how many times I've almost tripped up on this darn thing, okay? So be careful. So the idea here is crossbow, and it uses a major action reload as opposed to the minor action of longbows that Paedar was using. Now the difference is that the payoff is more damage. It rolls a 2d6 plus, whereas the other one rolls a 1d6 plus. Okay, so but it takes longer to reload. So the impacts are more, but they're slower. So a crossbow is really ideal if you're fighting really heavily armoured things, like the group were against the Hurlocks with armour 8. And in that situation, Paedar was pretty helpless, standing on top of that wall, just firing toothpicks at them, essentially. Now, you'll see there the choice also of the Morningstar under weapons. Now, that was very consciously done. Yes, you get a bit more damage out of the Morningstar than you do out of a short sword anyway, but we aren't metagaming here. It's just that no one's been using Morningstars at all, and his previous character used a short sword, so it's just something to do something different. A short and a Morningstar, it's like a handle with like a metal head with like spike things coming off it, but it comes under the staves thing. And he is trained in that weapon group as well, because rogues start with bows, brawling light blades, and staves weapon groups. So, if you weren't trained in that, you'd be -2 to hit as well. So that's fine. Starting money was 58 silver, and he's left now with 1 silver, so that's pretty heavy. So we see the stats there, and getting Dex 3 was a real boon. Now, what I do is, I give my groups a RP bonus focus to start with. Just because they all come out a little bit bland out of the gate, to be honest, all as level 1s. There's not enough differentiation between them. So they aren't normally game-breaking, and they have to be justified in the RP. So, his one is Deception. We can see it there, the box is filled in. And then if we go down, the stuff he got through other means by either being a duster or just a rogue, we've got running, which is quite funny when you think it's a dwarf. That's really funny, isn't it? We've got the dexterity one, legerdemain. Is that how we say it? Basically, it's the chance you've got of hiding things and sleight of hand things and sneaky kind of trickster things like that. And he's also got the stealth one as well. So you can see already, because what you should do is you should really look at the skills and talents of your character and study the stats as well, even though they're just numbers. If you stare at them for a while, the essence, the RP locked in that character can really permeate out off of those pages, off of those numbers, and you can like swirl around those numbers like a mist. You can start to breathe in the essence of who this character is just coming off of these words and numbers. It's a very magical experience interpreting your character, and then obviously as they grow and level up and improve themselves in some ways, that can even inspire the RP, new elements of RP that you discover about a character. So yes, the bonus focus there is something that I do for everyone, and we can see there that he is just the strength 1 minimum. Being a dwarf, you get magic resistance +2, so that means against all those things where it's spell power versus whatever, you know, you'd get a +2 versus their spell power. And then they get the backstab thing, so they can extra roll to hit and extra damage, but they can't start from behind at level 1 at least, and then get in behind and attempt to backstab by doing a roll of dexterity, stealth versus perception, seeing, and well, of course, he's got stealth. And obviously the rogue armor, which means no penalties for any of the armors. And right at the bottom there on the things, talent, novice. What we're doing here, I'm filling in the talents from the bottom up, and then these from the top down, so that you sort of keep them apart, as it were, and then you can have one on either side. And language is Dwarven and Trade Tongue. If we flip this bad boy over, he hasn't got a name yet, of course. Money left, 1 silver, that's it. You can see here, backpack, traveller's guard, water skin, light leather armor, that needs to be changed to heavy. Crossbow, Morningstar, quiver was purchased, pouch was purchased, small tent was purchased. You've got to take small tents into account, guys, because you know there's times like if you happen to go in the Frostback Mountains. What if you need to rest for the night? What if it's really, really raining out on your travels? You as a GM should say, right, oh, you don't have a tent, you're just going to lie in the rain, are you? You can't find a cave, it's just open plains or something like that. If it's one of those situations, you can get ill if you're out in the cold. That's not cool. So maybe you should impose that with some sort of constitution test or something like that. Unless they've got a tent. Damn it. Rope. Small tent, of course, he wouldn't want to share, he's going to be a grumpy dwarf. Some rope as well, and of course lock picks. What we're doing with the lock picks is we are making them a usable resource, and we're saying, right, well, you can either have 6 or 2d6 worth when you pay the 12 silver to get your lock picks. So that's it. And I'll be doing a video about the extra little home-brewed elements like that, actually, coming up soon. At the bottom of this character sheet is very cool. We've got the stunts as well. The only issue with this is it really needs to be personalised, because as your character levels on, of course, their stunt things can start to be done for reduced values on particular stunts. So the rogue, as a good example here, as he levels up, he gains pierce armour for -1 stunt point. Well, that was just an introduction to this character, currently without a name, but in all likelihood you'll see him coming into the campaign if Pete is indeed joining us for it. I hope you've found it interesting seeing another one have life initially breathed into it. But until next time, I'll see you at the table.